Damn, these are hard to ride.
Let's see what you got.
I can walk. Whoa.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of RV That Bus. Today we're working on finishing the rough-in of the shower. So this includes putting some rails right here because we had to space the shower off of the wall to fit the drain. We're finishing that framing. We've got the back one glued in and screwed. Shower pans in. I'll try not to be too redundant here because I notice that I keep saying the same things over and over. So what I'm doing now is I'm putting in the rough framing to accommodate the shower faucet. So this piece right here, we have all of our PEX adapters here already pre-installed. This is referred to as a flat face faucet. What it does is it installs straight onto a stud that goes across from here to here, and the front of this flange right here needs to be flush with the wall. So our depth gets set by a cross piece accordingly. Now, I've done some Googling. Some people recommend putting the shower faucet at like 42 inches, but that would put it like way up here, which would just be kind of awkward for our shower. Plus we have some kids. I'm 6'2", but my wife is, five and some change. I think kind of putting it a little bit lower will make it a little bit more aesthetic, as well as not be too awkward. So we're going to put it right about here. I'm going to install some 2x4s here to do some rough framing that will have a depth, and we'll go ahead and mount this. And then at some point, once this is mounted, we can cut the hole for the wall, and we can put the wall on here, and we can put the backing in, test fit all of that, make sure that our hole is in the right spot, and then we can start attaching our PEX and getting that rough ran so that we can attach the walls for the last time. So here we go. All right, so here we are. We've gone ahead and clamped in temporarily all of our rough framing for the shower faucet. And you can see over here, I've gone ahead and marked everything with my Sharpie. Everything's in place. The diverter, I'll measure this to the center of the shower. It's not to the center of the framing, it's centered to the shower. And you can see right here, it's flush to the wall. So this is the correct depth. And we'll go ahead and screw it all in, and then we can start on our PEX. Okay, so here we are. We got the hole drilled for the shower faucet. Ta-da! It's nice and centered. You can see back here, we're all framed in, yada, yada, yada. It's tight to the external wall. So the next part is the shower outlet. Where does it go? Now, the problem in an RV, probably most of you have, or bus, or whatever you want to call this thing, is height. So the shower wall, it goes all the way to the ceiling. In a normal house, your shower outlet is going to, so this is an eared 90 to PEX to ½ inch. This would normally be like up here in the wall above your shower so that the thing actually sprays on your head. Unfortunately, we don't have that in a bus, so we have to put it somewhere here. Now I can't put it up in here because the outlet needs to be covered by a nice little pretty trim piece. So how do we, and I'm a 6'2" guy, so this along with a shower head unfortunately would be like spraying at my neck, so that's not very fun. This thing also sticks out pretty far, so we need to bury it in that wall as far as we can. That way we get as much room in the shower as possible. So how do we go about doing that? We're gonna use this. We also have kids, and we need to deal with the fact that our kids are not super tall, and so we're gonna use this. So this is just a handled sprayer, and it's going to go like that, and the handle will go up here, and that way the actual outlet is about a foot higher than this hole here. So I'm gonna go ahead and center this part along to the faucet and get this mocked up for rough framing, and I'll show you guys a video of that. Then we'll screw it all in, drill our hole, and at that point we should be good to put these in. Or actually we need to start on the PEX inside of the wall, and then once the PEX is in, then we can do that. That's coming up next. All right, next update. We have our, I don't know what this thing's called. I think it's called an eared elbow or something like that. It basically has little ears on it, so you can attach it to the stud, and that way the upper shower head is firmly attached to something solid. We have our PEX line going from the output of the shower nozzle up here. We got our crimp, and our crimp's verified. So the tool that I got, here I can kind of show you back here. So I originally bought like the big giant one that was like $100 or something at Home Depot for PEX crimping. And for this style of PEX crimping. And we have this guy. So this guy, his jaws here, you see his little mouth, he clamps on to those little guys. And as you ratchet, he gets smaller and crimps, so you can see. And when he gets tight enough, this one's pretty cool. Whoa, look at that. It's got a little blue LED that tells you, hey, you've crimped good enough. No more crimping, because I'm sure you can over crimp these. You're done. We have our up. I'm gonna go ahead and run our hot and our cold, and I'll meet back up with you guys in a little bit. All right, so we have our hot and cold side plumbed in, and when running it down through the bottom, there really wasn't a great spot. So unfortunately, I'm gonna run it out through the wall here and down here, and it'll go through this little hole into that bay where the water tanks are going to be. So that's that. Inside of, like, there's a hole right there that goes to an electrical box, and I just don't want to mess with that. So that's what we got. This is going to be underneath a cabinet anyway, so it's really not that big of a deal. There will be nothing down there touching it, so not too worried. It's just in trying to get to the bay below us, there really is no good way. I thought that there might be, but it just didn't work out. Anyways, we're all crimped up. This guy's mounted. We got our faucet up here mounted. I threw the back wall back in. It was a big step, but I think we're ready to mount the shower. All right, everybody, it's dark out, and I finally finished. I learned a couple things along the way. Number one, plumbers like to leave big gaps. So one of the problems I had installing this faucet here is there's a collar, and then there's this plate. It's called like a echelon or something. I don't know. It's got some E name. Then we have these screws. All of that goes into the valve back there. Now I opted to leave this plate on. It said that I could, or you can remove it. It's basically like a drywall plate, something like that, so that the drywallers don't cover up the hole. So the instructions say. Anyways, when I cut my hole for this guy, you know, me thinking, hey, there's going to be water, etc. I cut the hole exactly the same size as the valve, and one of the things I learned later on, unfortunately, is plumbers like to leave big gaps in things so that this whole assembly can slide over each other and yada yada. There's a foam seal that goes around this guy. He's not siliconed on. Again, I don't do this by trade. I'm just kind of going along with it. So I put the whole shower together again. We got all the screws, etc. I put this guy on here. So I'll talk about that in a little bit. Anyways, put it all together, and I couldn't get this collar to slide on because the hole that I had drilled didn't allow for this little sleeve to slide over the valve. So yeah, take it all back apart, drill another hole, yada yada yada. Then when I went to go put these screws in here, there's a plate on the back of this valve right there. You can kind of see it, that silver plate. My valve is orientated correctly. I have the up to up, hot to hold, hot to hot, cold to cold, and then I have the tub spout blocked off. But for some reason, that little silver plate rotated 90 degrees and assembled. So when I went to put this together, the screw holes where these thread into the valve were already occupied by the plate screws. So again, I had to take it all back apart, rotate that stupid thing 90 degrees, put it all back together, yada, yada, yada. So I'm learning to be a plumber. I opted to go with a handheld shower. We have kids, and so that'll be nice. We can take it down, scrub their little dirty bodies, and put it back up. What's also good for me is this output for the shower. We don't have the height here to have it come out up above. So we have to have it come out here. And then what's nice about the handle is it comes up another foot. And so I can get my little head under there and take a shower without having to duck down. Shower's in, everything is all screwed in. It's pretty solid now that everything is nice and tight. I kind of learned on the rough-in that these little corners over here, there's a tab that slides in behind this guy, but in order for this to all be nice and tight, that tab should really be sandwiched to a stud, and that way this corner is nice and tight. Same with this corner is nice and tight. The same with the bottom. So if you're doing this in the future, or you're planning to do a shower like this and you're doing your shower rough-in, you're going to want to have studs in these corners that allow those two pieces to sandwich together. So yeah, I'm glad I get to move on to something else, because I'm sure you guys are tired of seeing shower videos, but I think we're going to focus on the bathroom. It's one of the smallest rooms in here. I think next is I'm going to tackle doing the wall. It also will give me some practice on what we should do, what we shouldn't do. And so I think tomorrow I'll start on putting in some strips and start attaching and cutting our plywood to fit those strips. And yeah, so that'll be my tomorrow. Maybe tonight, I don't know. I'm gonna go get tacos. See you guys tomorrow.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe.
One, two, three.